1340 96.5 KVGC. Time for a visit with Douglas Viviani. Douglas and his co-host, Michelle DeFranco. You finally got rid of David, right?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Douglas and David Cohen tonight at 6 o'clock, hosting Everything Old is New Again, the little show that could. How do you like that? The little show that could.
Yeah, I like that. It's not so bad. It sounds good.
You know, like the little engine that could, bringing fun back to radio, kind of, chugging up the hill like the rubber tree plant and the ant. Remember that song?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we will do it in our own little corner of the world. Exactly right.
Anyway, tonight at 6 o'clock, tomorrow at 6 o'clock, America's Entertainment Pop Culture Show. Everything Old is New Again. Douglas, did you have a good Easter?
Yeah, Easter was pretty good. It was not so bad. We prepared a nice ham. We had stuffed shells. We had some asparagus. Slave over the meal, sit down, and my mother-in-law brought over, for some reason, beets.
Be careful.
In a can. She loves beets for some reason. I haven't had a beet in 100 years, and the conversation at the table revolved around beets for 25 minutes after cooking all that meal and so forth. So sometimes things run askew. I don't know what that was about.
I love beets.
You do?
Oh, man, yeah. I wish I was. You made my mouth water when you talked about being there. Yeah, no, I love beets. Love beets.
Over and above all the other stuff.
No, but when people go, oh, they taste like dirt. Oh, I don't like beets. I'm there. Good, give me yours. I love beets. Yeah.
I will keep that in mind for next year. Ask you for a recipe.
No,
anyway,
just get them on.
It was all said and done. We had some fun, and we sat down and tried with the kids running around to tune into the Jesus Christ Superstar show or presentation that was live with John Legend. I don't know. Did you get a chance to watch any of that?
Did not see it.
My wife's a big fan of the show, so she was very attuned to the fact that they were doing it, and they did it out of this huge amphitheater in indoor, like warehouse, but it was huge. It had to be, 3-4 stories tall inside, and it turned out to be a nice presentation. If you enjoy, Andrew Lloyd Webber, if you like that that genre and or this show, they did a nice job with it, and it got about 10 million viewers, so it turned out to be pretty good. They're going to go on tour in 2019 with the show all over again.
I saw an advertisement about that. That it said
already?
They were,
See that? Yeah.
Yes, that they're going to go, wow, was it that good of a message, that entertaining? What?
Well, I think it's a nice message all around. It's controversial in that it's, it was controversial back in the day, rock and roll involving the church and so forth. So that was a big, that between that and Godspell in the 60s, it was very controversial. But the music still is pretty, pretty good till this day. If you've got, good songs, everything's going to carry the day on a show, and you really need some pipes to present what you're singing there. It's highs and lows, and there's a lot of energy, and I don't know, if you ever get a chance, it's worth your while. It's not so bad.
The question would be, did Angelica and Leo watch it?
Yes, they're totally into it. These two are into all kinds of theater. The week before, we went to see the Marvel Universe at the Nassau Coliseum present, their live, I don't know if you've seen this advertised, there's a live presentation of I guess you'd say it's a live movie on stage, and so they go from that to Andrew Lloyd Webber, and they enjoyed it both, and all of it. Yeah, they were very into it.
Great.
How about that? Very strange.
Hey, this is the age to get him involved in that kind of stuff. It is.
Yeah, it's something different. I mean, he's getting into sports too. Leo's into that as well, and Angelica a little bit with the soccer and stuff. So they're not exclusive to anything. They have an open mind, and I think it's nice to have them able to sit and enjoy and watch various events but also then get involved, because Angelica likes to be part of the theater, and Leo's going to join a theater club at 6, and in school they've got that option. So there's a lot, and he does art and cooking in school, after school. So I mean, all these things that the kids have now, at least over here, that we didn't have when I was growing up. So it's nice to see that they're widening the horizons and able to take a look at the world with a different eye really early in life to see there's a lot to do, a lot of options if you feel like it, you know?
That is great. How old is he? He's 5?
He's 5. He'll be 6 in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So it's going fast, I'll tell you, yeah.
Douglas, I'll tell you what, before you know it, you will be, Angelica will be off to her first prom. She'll be graduating. He'll be right behind her, and then you and the wife will be left in the empty house.
Yeah, it's amazing. We had a little dinner for her birthday. She just turned 9 2 days ago, and we sat down at the table with a friend of hers and their family for dinner. Let's see. She knows this girl from when they were 3 years old, and now they have 2 children as well, boy and a girl, just about the same age. The 4 of them wanted their own table at the restaurant. So, and nothing to do with us, you know, in a nice way, but they were having their own little time for themselves. So it's already starting, you know?
Yeah, good.
So that's good. Yeah, everything's going good that way. Now, the next thing is, now it's I could start to share with them some of the things that I enjoy, and maybe they'll enjoy too. And we talked about Marvel, but what about all of these blockbusters coming out this summer, the blockbuster movies? You know, I know that you've got Jurassic Park's got a sequel coming out, The Wasp and the Ant-Man's coming out, but soon, I mean, it's happening really soon, like April 27th, Avengers Infinity Wars is coming out. Have you seen any of the advertisements for this?
Just a few. I haven't.
Smokes. Every character in the Marvel Universe will be in this movie, and we're talking about, like, I'm going to say, like, 30 stars in this movie.
Wow.
So have you seen any movies like that? Any movies remind you, like, most movies have 1 or 2 stars and the rest are supporting characters. That's the formula, right? This has got, I don't know, 25, 30 stars. The people have carried their own movie in the past. Now in this, I don't know, there's only so many lines. Have you seen or remember any movies that have tons of stars like that have actually been any good?
The airport movies.
Ah.
Remember those? Remember the airport movies?
Yes, I do, with Dean Martin or, let's see.
And what about all the Irvin Allen disaster movies?
Yeah,
remember?
Like Poseidon Adventure
and the earthquake.
That's for
remember
sure.
the earthquake, the fire, the whole those big disaster movies.
Yes, those work. There's also a lot of these westerns, you know, Kelly's Heroes, Dirty Dozen, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Mission Impossible. How about remember this one, Mad World from the '60s?
Is that the one where Slim Pickens rides the bomb out of the?
No, that's a different one.
Okay, no, I don't remember that one.
This has got Milton Berle and every comedy star from the 1960s is in this movie. They're all chasing after they're looking for a buried treasure. Going from basically your area in the northern part of California down to Reseda Beach in L.A. area, and it's a real funny movie. I would suggest you check that one out. It's pretty good. You're like, it's 3 hours long. You get a kick out of it, but it's over the top good. There's a lot of bad ones too.
Yes. Here's a bad one. My wife and I were talking about this over the weekend. Teresa and I, you know how I've told you before, we've kind of discovered from a gift through our son Jake at Christmas to now, my wife and I have really discovered Netflix and Hulu's and Amazon Prime and those channels where we can watch. So we were watching a little movie the other day. I love these old things. I watched one last night of the 1964 World's Fair, where they went to the fair. But there was a movie on the 50 worst movies. And, of course, Ed Wood movies were in there, and there was a bunch of other movies. And my wife goes, the number 1 movie will be Mars Attacks.
She did say that.
Yes.
I agree 100%.
You think so?
Yes, I thought it was so incredibly disappointing. Was it in the list?
No, it wasn't.
Oh!
Ed Wood's, you know that one, oh gosh, what is it? Something number 9.
Oh, Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Yeah, that was the worst movie.
That's always been rated. That is ranked. That's that's a good one. That everyone rates that
But
one.
see, on Mars Attacks, I thought, and all during the movie, I was watching this as satire, as a a joke on the genre of movie.
Right.
But some people actually watched it thinking, and I'm not going to put words in my wife's mouth, but I think Teresa actually thought this was going to be a good movie. I knew it was going to be a crazy movie just from the start. I mean, but
okay, but it can be crazy, but it can have a laugh or two. It just Jack
what about
Nicholson,
Slim
I thought,
Whitman?
was horrible, and no.
What about the Slim Whitman whistling? The Slim Whitman song kills the invaders, makes them blow. Oh, did I give the story away? Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I don't think anybody's going rushing out to get it anyway.
Oh, so anyway, yeah, enjoy them, folks. Enjoy them. Watch Mars Attacks this weekend.
Go to
if you
Helen
can.
Kelly's Heroes of the Expendables instead. Beside Adventure, something like that. You'll love
See
it.
now, the Expendables.
Yes.
I like the Expendables, but I like that kind of movie, and I like the movie where the good guy wins and the bad guy gets killed or what have you.
Yep.
I like those movies.
Yeah, Magnificent Seven, something like that. Remember that one?
Yeah.
It just redid that one. Was not so bad.
Yeah, I haven't seen the remake of that one at all. But
it's almost like some of them. There's no point to it. Like, why do you need to make that over again? Like, that was so good. They made Charlton Heston's Ben-Hur over again. It was horrible. There's some of them. They did a show on this. They're just. Sometimes they go a little. They take a step. Like, you don't need to redo Casablanca. You know, there are some movies. Citizen Kane, you don't need to redo. Let's hope they don't do that.
Yeah, let's hope
go,
they don't do that.
Well, I guess because everything old is new again. What can I tell you?
Well, okay. Have you watched, for example, the Planet of the Apes movies?
Yes.
Okay, those weren't bad, huh?
They were bad because they weren't remakes of the original one. The one that was with Wahlberg, that was a remake, was absolutely horrible. But these three are a set of filling in the gap of how do we get from Charlton Heston basically taking off to the Planet of the Apes becoming a Planet of the Apes. So it's a brand new kind of story. It presented in a really good way.
As you can tell, I've watched those movies.
You enjoy them?
I like the old ones. I don't like the new ones.
Yeah, I don't like the new ones either. We talked about that once with David and I. We did a show on this and that. He doesn't mind that the apes, the simians, are the heroes now, and for some reason that bothers me. I can't go for it.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
See, I like it when the apes are the heroes, and I don't like Woody Harrelson though. I just never have kind of warmed up to him.
Yeah, I don't know how that career got started. Do you? I mean, that was almost like some studio representative, who's trying to prove that they can make a star out of anybody.
How about this? How about remaking Apocalypse Now and having Woody Harrelson play the Marlon Brando character?
Well, that would rate as one of the worst movies ever made, I'm sure. I'll go there.
What do you have for us this week?
Well, I don't know. Do you remember the sitcoms in the 70s? It was sort of a different world. It was just expanding and trying to try new things. There's one sitcom on now that's about cops, and it's okay, but we're going to go back to the days of the origin of that and visit with Barney Miller himself. Hal Linden is going to be on our show.
Whoa, how do you get these people?
Well, I guess the word gets out a little bit, and believe it or not, his people had heard of our show, reached out to us. He's in a brand new movie that he wanted to talk about, and lo and behold, here we go. We got him on.
How about
huh?
Yeah, I'm speechless. I didn't even think he was still alive. No,
he's
really.
Actually 87.
Wow.
Pretty vibrant, and I think he's going to have a lot to say.
Wow. Are you going to talk to him
he
about?
also was a singer, and he was a jazz singer back in the day. When he quit Barney Miller, he went back on stage to sing. So he talks about that a bit. Talks about this new movie. So it's I think it's going to be a pretty good interview. It's got a lot to dive into there. And if you're a fan of the 70s, it's it's like an Alan Alda type we had on. It's kind of a kick to have someone from the day that was. I mean, Barney Miller was pretty successful. It wasn't MASH, but it was up there. It was on for 8 years, and did a great job in the ratings. And by the way, there's a star from The Godfather that's in that.
Well, that was a great ensemble cast type sitcom of the day.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah. Now, who was in The Godfather? Do you remember from that show?
Abe Vigoda.
There you go. A fish himself, right?
I think he's still alive.
No, he was 90-something, passed away 2 years ago.
Who could tell the difference?
Yeah, exactly. And we talk about that. I think we're going to talk about Al Linden mentions and talks about how he looks, even when he was doing that show, he looked like he was 90.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
he was only in his late 50s when he did that show.
So when you sit down, and I know you do a lot of prep work on before the interviews, but when you sit down actually to talk to these people, do you even Alan Alda? Okay, do you think Alan Alda was one of the biggest stars you've interviewed?
I would think so. Paul Sorvino, yeah, Alan Alda would be the biggest.
Think about it. Do you wet your pants?
Well, it's on tape, so if I do, I can run to the next.
I'm seriously. Do you think in the back of your mind, man, I don't want to ask this guy a question to make me look like some stooge. I've got to.
That's sort of the motivating factor. All of a sudden, we get somebody like this, and I'm diving into their career for 2 hours, looking at everything they've done one way or another, and learning all about it to sort of come up with questions that are different. And it's not easy to do because, of course, they've done tons of interviews, but. Yeah, it does intimidate you for sure. It's nice to have a co-host there to pick up the slack if I drop the ball at all, and even if you don't hear David saying much, he does make hand signals and gestures and points to questions, and he stays a little bit more silent because he hasn't done the research and all, but he knows the characters, and so that helps a little bit. But the idea that it's daunting if you have seen someone on TV your entire life, and there they are on your show. You're right. You interviewed Tim Conway, and
oh yeah. I mean,
what do you think yourself? I mean, it's an out of body experience in a way.
Douglas, early on, I've been doing this for over 40 years now. So early on, I used to think I needed to be just as smart or smarter as the person I interviewed.
Right.
Okay, and then I realized no. Just be the normal guy in the audience that's saying, hey, no, ask him this question. And I've always found if you ask the hard question, I was talking to some kids the other day about interviewing, and I said, ask the hard question. Don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid. Ask the hard question. Ask the question that the people who are listening or watching your interview want to hear.
Right. Which is a great advice because you don't want to hold back. And you don't want to, also you don't want to, in your question, answer your question or prove that I've done the research, so I know the answer to this question, and kind of fumble it up because you've said what this person wants to say. It's okay to look, even if you do know the answer, because they're on the air for a reason, too. They want to promote something, and certainly you know what that is, but you don't want to pretend that you're the expert, if you will. They're the expert, right? If that makes sense. So you want to be the straight man, if that makes sense.
Exactly. The cardinal rule. The cardinal rule is never answer the question that you've asked.
Right.
So
right. Because they're. My only thing is, I want them to have a memorable experience. I want them to have a chuckle and a laugh here and there, and I want them to say, you know what? That was a pretty good interview. It wasn't the same old interview. I'm going to remember that, even maybe for the next day or something in their life, and say that they had some fun with it. We had it with Walter Koenig came on from Star Trek, and it was another one of these interviews of somebody that I've seen and admired for such a long time that I was a little intimidated. But as you get going, and once you get them to laugh and smile and see that they're okay with it also, then it becomes more fun, and that's really what I want to try to get out of it. If I'm having a good time asking these questions, certainly I would hope the audience does. But besides that, they're promoting something, so you do have to balance that too, because they want to get to it as well. They want to get to what their commercial is, so to speak. And that ties this show up and brings us full circle. The reason why you need to have Michelle DeFranco on all the time. What a great experience all your guests would have. Yes, but would David and I have a great experience? That's the question. Tonight at 6 o'clock, tomorrow at 6 o'clock, Everything Old is New again with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen, the show that
definitely makes radio fun again. Douglas, we'll listen for you tonight at 6 o'clock.
Sounds great. Enjoy it.
All righty.